gentlemen, may I request a gentleman who's been on stage many times already. Mr. Hamid Khan is a Pakistani writer, politician, Supreme Court lawyer, and he's currently serving as the Senior Vice President of PTI. He's a prominent lawyer and has served as the Chairman and Vice Chairman of Pakistan Bar Council, former Vice Chairman of Punjab Bar Council, former President of the Supreme Court Bar Association of Pakistan. Notably, Hamid Khan wrote several books that are recommended reading for Pakistani students of law. Ladies and gentlemen, who has read some of the books of Mr. Hamid Khan? Hands up.
So many.
So many. Right. I'm so pleased. Excellent. Recommended reading, ladies and gentlemen, it says here in my script, okay, for any student of law. Hamid Khan, he studied law at the University of Punjab and the University of Illinois and has practiced over 30 years.
So
ladies and gentlemen.
A great warrior of the lawyers movement, Mr. Hamid Khan. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Yes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable the Justice Retired Sayyiduzzaman Siddiqui, Mubin Rashid, Dr. Khalid Ranja, Ali Ahmed Kurd, and the Pakistani origin British lawyers. It's a great privilege for me to be here today. It was difficult for me to arrive. I had actually excused sought to be excused, but Mr. Mubin Rashid insisted, so I could hardly make it for an evening. But I am really pleased to be here today. It's one of the most distinguished August gathering here, which I have the privilege to address. Some of the very thought-provoking things were said here by Mr. Sibuqatullah Qadri, and I think I'll try to address it briefly. What kind of vicissitudes that we lawyers have passed through over the history of Pakistan. And it is very much there today. Every time we pass through a very difficult time, and a movement, and we come to a conclusion that perhaps this was the last, and we will not again suffer through those vicissitudes which we have done previously. Another aspect was very important. One of us, a host here, pointed out that Pakistan's founding father were mostly lawyers, whether it was Allama Muhammad Iqbal, whether it was Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Mr. Rahmat Ali was also named, and let me add a couple of more lawyers who were founding fathers, which included Mr. Liaquat Ali Khan, which included many other of our original founding fathers who were there, were lawyers. But over a period of time, what has happened? Amongst the political leadership of Pakistan, we find very few lawyers. Actually, the political process in Pakistan has not been consistent. Our political journey has been tempered several times by military regimes, military rulers, military dictators. And with this tempered process, naturally, people with different kind of interest, backgrounds, understanding little about the importance of law, constitution, fundamental rights, and other things that we hold very dear to our values, are not found in our leadership. And that led to a lot of compromises. Even our community stood compromised as a result of it. If you want to be part of any power process, then you have to make some compromises. That became a very unfortunately and hard fact of our lives. At the same time, with all these difficulties, I must say many of us stood up for our ideals, stood up for our principles, and we have a very significant examples present here in Justice retired Sayyid-ur-Zaman Siddiqui, who sacrificed his office of Chief Justice of Pakistan on the principle of constitutional supremacy and not accepting a military ruler to have his own way. These are what we call as the bright spots of our political, as of course, partly judicial life too. Even today we have the same, what we went through in 2 years of our lawyers movement, that of course was less for an individual. Many people misunderstood that perhaps this was a fight for an individual. It was for one particular person who at that given time was the Chief Justice of Pakistan. Of course, he became the symbol of that. But then it was for more than that reason. It was just to establish rule of law in Pakistan. It was just to show a military dictator cannot play havoc with the legal system in Pakistan, cannot undo a constitution of his own whim. He cannot force the judiciary to give him another term of 5 years illegitimately, when the constitution clearly said that he cannot, being in uniform, hold the office of president or could seek another term as president. So this was what was the fight about. We wanted to make sure that the judiciary has the upper hand in deciding whether a person in uniform can be a candidate for the president of the country. So that was one of the immediate causes of that lawyers' movement, which led him to a desperation in which he had to send the whole Supreme Court packing, the most of the high courts packing. But at this time, for the first time, they stood their ground. And we certainly came out honorably, having the judges restored and asserting the judicial independence. Well, it is for the history to see what they actually achieved as a result of it. It may be too early to comment. We sometimes comment rather prematurely. It's only about more than a year since Iftikhar Mahmood Chaudhary is retired. There's a lot of controversy about him, about his decisions, about the manner in which he ran the court after being restored. But I would let the verdict be made by the history. There are some good things that he has done. There are certain things which we did not meet the expectations of our legal fraternity or even for the country. But it's a matter of evaluation which will lead. However, things are not over, unfortunately. This is a very sensitive thing which Mr. Qadri pointed out, and we all feel that way. It was not a great spectacle for us, seeing all our political leaders in the political parties which are in the parliament sitting together with blatantly two military uniformed journals dictating terms to them. It was not a very happy spectacle for me and for most of our lawyers community. I must say I'm very happy about it that my own parent Bar Association, High Court Bar Association, was the first to condemn that and to condemn the 21st Amendment be brought about by a parliament to promote military courts. And that very Bar Association was the first to file a petition before the Supreme Court seeking that it should be declared invalid. It's my distinction that its main counsel who appeared for the admission of that petition. And then most of the lawyer associations came along after that. The Supreme Court Bar Association is now in the court before the Supreme Court against that. So is the Pakistan Bar Council, a number of other bar associations. I must say that where the political leaders failed, the lawyers have stood up. That must be a compliment to Pakistani lawyers. We may belong to any political party. Our political leaders may have any kind of compulsions, but we lawyers have none whatsoever. We have the courage to dissent within our party over something which is a matter of principle. And that's what we are happy about. Still, there is enough sensitivity in this country to do that. There may be some argument made that we are in a very extremely difficult situation. We are facing terrible terrorism. So therefore, we have to make some very exceptional decisions at this moment. I must say, there's no justification for military courts, whatever may be the conditions prevalent. And secondly, the military courts are no solution to any problem of terrorism. Our experience show that there is a failure of the executive. They don't apprehend terrorists. There is a complete failure in apprehension of terrorists. You will have to first apprehend someone, then investigate and collect evidence, then prosecute him. Only then the courts will come. When you are unable to apprehend, and if you apprehended, you are unable to investigate and collect the evidence, then you fail to prosecute him. What the courts can do? It means only that you now want to convict people without evidence. Is that the answer? Is that the 21st Amendment all about? We said, no, it cannot be. It should not be. Even the worst terrorist in the world has to be proven as a terrorist before something happens to him. So therefore, that is not the answer. That has never been an answer. And now, more than 3 months, about 3 months have elapsed. What has that done to the terrorism? Has the situation improved any better? What is going on? Terrorism is very much rampant everywhere. So therefore, it was less a matter of finding a solution to a problem that we are facing, rather than it was more who keeps how much of the power. It is more about the division of power amongst various powerful factions of Pakistan. It is more who is going to do what, and who is going to concede how much territory in the power in our highest echelons of power. And that is what has happened. Somebody has abdicated his power. Somebody has left things what they are supposed to, or rather elected to do. And somebody else or some other institutions have been asked to do what they are not supposed to do at times. Internal security is being handed over, and one institution being overburdened by all kind of. So therefore, the truth of the matters are something different. They are put before the nation in a different way. So, happen what may, I think I will not further dwell into this question, which is a burning question right now, which agitate us and all of us for that matter in the legal profession. And we sometimes are anxious and are anxiety about the future of our legal profession in the face of this erosion of constitutional dispensation, which we fear that may take place unless the Supreme Court really proves itself to be independent enough to take care of this situation. And the matter is for all of us to see and for the future to decide. Having said all that, I once again want to deeply thank the hosts of today's event for inviting me at this occasion, and I'm really pleased to know that Pakistani British lawyers with Pakistani origin are doing so well here. One of our colleagues, your colleagues, told me that there are more Pakistani QCs than Indian QCs. I'm not saying it, but it's a great achievement. A smaller country producing more QCs, its expatriate community producing more QCs than a larger country. It's a matter of great pride for all of us, for any Pakistani, whether in Pakistan or an expatriate. And I only pray that may Allah give you further successes and make us all proud of you. Thank you so much.